I'm Linda Sgoluppi. I'm an artist based in England. I'm a painter, and this video shows 4 of my paintings from the Corpus series and a detail from each of them. You see the full image of each painting in turn, followed by a close-up detail. The location of the detail is indicated just before the actual detail is shown. The basis for this series came from an image I saw in a book of photos taken by New York firemen after the destruction of the World Trade Center. The photos in the book showed mainly wreckage, and one image in particular drew me in. It showed deep mounds of rubble and twisted girders, and amongst the landscape of destruction were areas marked out by the roughly painted words that read "body part." Of all the images of the disaster, it was the one that kept replaying in my head. Even so, initially I'd had no intention of allowing it to influence studio work, not least that the event was too recent, too raw, and too terrible. Later on, thinking about the photo, it occurred to me that it had a quality of quietness about it, an aftermath when time seemed to hang suspended. I started to think of the disaster as being a legitimate one for the studio. After all, there is a Western art tradition of artists using terrible events as subject matter. Goya's figurative painting of the execution of the rebels of the 3rd of May, and the more abstract Guernica by Picasso come to mind. Doing some research on the web prior to painting, I looked up the words body part as well as corpus in a search engine and was surprised to find that for body part the search only returned results referring to car or auto parts. This struck me as ironic because the motor car has always been such an American icon, and now a new image, the destruction of the Twin Towers, was a terrible icon to replace it. I didn't start painting until quite some time after the tower's destruction. By then a similar web search included human body parts. I didn't intend the paintings to be a reworking of the photo. It was more a matter of being a conduit for the impressions it had left me with. To paint the series, I used decorator's rollers and the other unusual implements that I like to work with in the studio. I used bright colours as well as gold and bronze. Marks made on the canvas with some of the implements I've mentioned were reminiscent of tyre marks as well as of twisted metal. Other elements in the paintings are common to my fundamental artistic interest, 2 of which include layering and repetition. 3 years after the collapse of the towers, and after I had finished the paintings, I visited New York for the first time and saw Ground Zero. I'm fairly sure that if I had seen the site before I made the paintings, I would still have painted them in the same way. Thank you for watching the video and for listening. Bye.